Namaste, namaste, and welcome to Saturday morning Vinyasa yoga. This is our third week of the summer term, and we're approaching our spiraling practice, but from a slightly different point of view. So we're going to work into a standing series a little bit later in the class. We're going to start standing today as well. So just take a moment to find your feet on the mat. They can be any distance apart that works for you. Maybe just shrug the shoulders a little, settle yourself down and feel your feet on the floor. Become aware of the contact between the soles of the feet and the floor. Feel that as a firm foundation and then lift the body away. We don't need to grip, we don't need to be rigid. We're just finding that strength in our foundation so that we can lift ourselves tall. Close your eyes or gaze gently downward and take this moment to put aside the other cares of your day, the other things going on around you, and step into this time and this space, giving yourself these next 90 minutes to really absorb your awareness and attention on your practice. Take a moment to notice how the body is feeling today, remembering that we use our practice to support our bodies and to nurture. So if there's anything that you've got that you're carrying, any discomfort, any tension, working with it or around it and not pressing through it. Notice the breath that you're breathing right now. Gently resting your right hand where you feel your body move first as you inhale. And resting your left hand where you feel the breath start to recede as you exhale. And their hands can be together. There's no right or wrong place to put them on your body. And when you're ready, you can gently deepen your breath as you exhale, drawing the navel towards the spine, just fully exhaling the air from the lungs, and then breathing deeply into the rib cage, the chest, the back. Exhaling long, slow, deep, and engaging across your navel to exhale completely. Breathing into the collarbones, the shoulder blades, the sides of the body. Breathing out slowly, deeply, and completely. A few more breaths like this, breathing into the whole of the torso, finding all the spaces the breath can move into. And slowing your exhalation down. Maybe you can feel a little tension melting from the face and the shoulders as you exhale. And in this way, we're really building our stores of internal prana, stimulating our energetic system. So we've got that vitality, that energy to move from in our practice. At the end of your next exhalation, just relax your arms down to your side, chin towards your chest. Feel that length down the back of the neck and notice where it goes to. For example, for me today, I can feel it between my right shoulder blade and the spine, but not on the left side. So I'm carrying a little bit of extra stiffness there on the right side. And in your own time, roll your right ear towards your right shoulder and chin to chest, left ear to left shoulder and chin to chest. Going side to side if that feels like a useful movement, or if you prefer to explore different movements of the neck, that's okay too. And then we're just gently going to take that neck movement into circles for anyone who would like to do that. And if you're circling the opposite way. And if you're just still doing semicircles, that's okay. Keep going with that. Then when you're ready, you can bring your chin back to your chest, your head back to center, blink your eyes open if they've been closed, and roll your shoulders. Oh, that feels really good. And then the opposite way as well. And when just noticing the connections between our movements and our different parts of the body. Poppy and I were talking about the tendons in the fingers today, and how if you hold your forearm and wiggle your fingers around, you can feel the muscles moving to support that movement in the forearm. So in yoga, we do very similar things. We're going to take the feet apart now and do a little Kati Chakrasana. So a little bouncing into the knees to feel that strong, solid connection with the floor. We're going to come back to the feet again and again today, and then gently twisting from side to side. Activating a little bit of engagement across the navel and the buttocks, perhaps. Just as you twist, letting the arms be really relaxed, the shoulders really relaxed. Swinging as far away from your body as feels comfortable. You can really let go of some tension, those expectations that everyone has of you that sit on your shoulders. When you're ready, you can twist on your toes if you want to. And just feel how that has opened the movement a little bit, so you can feel that spiraling action across your hips. And then giving a little soft bend in the knee. A bounce and twist. And then we're going to let the bounce go and pivot on the toes. Bring the feet to stillness and allow the body to sway back to steadiness, just losing a little momentum at a time. When you come back to standing steady, if you need to square your feet or turn your toes out, do whatever feels good for you. A little softness in the knees, starting with the right elbow today, because why not? We're going to make big elbow circles or big arm circles with that softened elbow. So you can do this with an absolutely straight arm if you prefer, and that gives a different sensation. But by bending the elbow just a little, we actually get more movement out of our shoulder joint. Whenever you're ready, you can allow the rest of the body to respond to the movement in a way that feels good to it. So a little firmness in the belly, a little maybe activation across the buttocks, and just allow your body to find a movement that feels good to it. Let your neck respond to the movements of the spine and the shoulder and the arm. And then let's go the opposite way as well. So be guided by that movement of the arm and see what wants to join in. And it might be different for you than it is for me. That's okay. That's the idea. We're all so individual. And perhaps you can feel the sides of the body responding, the feet, the hips, the knees, as well as the things that you would expect to respond, like the chest, the upper back, the neck, the spine. And one more in this direction. And then resting this arm down to your side, taking a note of how the body feels differently on both sides, and doing the same on the other side. A little softness in the left elbow, starting with just the arm, or basically just the arm moving. It's very hard to isolate that movement, just your arm. And then when you're ready, just feeling that movement of the arm, encouraging movement elsewhere in the body, making sure not to grip or hold your head steady. There's no need to look at the screen here because you're exploring your own response. And you might be doing something very different. That's okay. We'll do one more in this direction, and then we're going to go the opposite way as well. Hopefully you feel quite familiar with this by now. So when we're doing something that is a very familiar practice, take the opportunity to notice something new. So notice perhaps how the soles of the feet respond to this movement, as you can feel the body moving, its weight shifting. Maybe you can feel that slight friction and twisting on the soles of the feet. It's really good for them as we move our weight around. One more in this direction. And resting the left arm down to the side as well. Take a moment just to notice how the body feels. And then we'll take the hands onto the hips and just do some hip circling as well, just while we're here. Why not? We're going to come down onto the mat and do a little bit more for our hips there as well. Going the opposite way with the hips, allowing the rest of the body to respond the way that feels most natural to you, whether that be holding still and steady or moving around as well. And then coming back to center, relaxing the arms. Let's take this moment to practice Tadasana. So mountain pose, bringing the feet underneath the hips, further together if you feel more comfortable practicing that way, lifting all the toes off the mat, spreading them out, placing the big toes down, and then the other toes as individually as possible to the mat. Looking at your feet, perhaps you have this sense of space between the toes. Feel the kiss of air between the toes on the skin there. And then with the spreading of the toes, activate your arches. Have that sense of lifting, drawing up from the inside of the foot, which encourages the outside of the foot to have a better connection with the floor. Without lifting the big toe or the big toe joint from the floor, keeping that connection, draw the knees up to the hips by engaging through the quadriceps here without locking the knees straight. That's the tough challenge there. Firm the pelvic floor, the abdomen, draw the shoulder blades towards each other, turning the palms forwards so the arms can rest down by the sides. Make sure that your head is centered over your body, not sticking too far forward, not lifting the chin too much. And here, practicing Samasthiti, standing steady. Closing the eyes or gazing gently downward or at one spot ahead of you. Whatever feels good. Eyes closed is really quite the challenge. See if you can find that fuller, deeper breath that we did at the beginning of the class. Are your feet still active? Are your toes gripping the mat? Try to let them relax to length instead. We'll take one more deep breath here. And then if you've had your eyes closed, opening them, we're going to breathe in, reach the arms out and up, lifting in the chest. Breathing out, hands down to the center of the chest. We're going to step the feet quite far apart, not too far, turning the toes out. Let's do that one more time. Breathing in, out and up. And this time, as you breathe out, bending in the knees, sinking down between the feet, coming up onto your tiptoes. If you need to, come into this deeper squat, Malasana. If you're comfortable here, you can press the elbows into the insides of the thighs and do a little shift from side to side, but don't worry, we're going to come back to that movement later. Let's take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, and then just releasing the hands to place them on the floor behind you. Sit yourself down. We're going to roll down onto our backs. Knees can be into the chest to begin with, and then feet to the floor. Having your feet a comfortable distance apart, just allowing the arms to rest away from the body, palms turned upwards, firm in the belly, and swaying the knees from side to side. So having that windscreen wiper knee twisting action, where you feel the two sides of the pelvis behaving just ever so slightly differently. Little firmness in your center helps to stabilize that movement in the low back. And we're just exploring here. Maybe your movement is becoming a little fuller, more full. No, that sounds wrong. Next time you come down to the left, just allowing the knees to rest to the left. Feel that slightly increased length across the right side of the body, particularly perhaps around the hip, into the waist, into the low back. You can reach your right arm up and just settle your shoulders and arms, make them heavy. Relax the back of the head as well. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. If you feel you've got more space, you can encourage the inside of the right foot and thigh towards the mat for a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. And then release your right arm back to your right side. Firm the belly, bring the knees up. A little touch of a sway from side to side. And then allow the knees to come all the way over to the right. Feeling that increased sense of length. Perhaps this side is more feeling back than the other side. Who knows? Reaching the left arm past the left side of the ear. Settle both arms, shoulders and hands and head into the floor for that heavy, relaxed anchoring. And then encouraging, if you want to, the inner left foot and thigh towards the mat for a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Relax your face. One more deep breath in. And deep breath out. Release the left arm to the left side. Firm the belly. Bring the knees back to the center. Little sway from side to side. And then bringing the heels a little bit more towards the buttocks. Unless your heels naturally touch your buttocks, then a little further away. Elbows down by the sides. Backs of the arms and shoulders pressed down into the mat. Engage between the shoulder blades so you feel that lift in the chest. So we're supporting this back bending movement. We don't have to do it all with the low back. In fact, we want to encourage the upper body to really work, to really become a participant in the movement. So pressing down with the upper back and the upper arms, pressing gently down with the back of the head, and then firming the feet into the floor to lift the hips up and roll down. Pressing up and rolling down. As you do this, can you feel the buttocks engage? Feel the backs of the legs and rolling down. One more time, up and rolling down. Very good. And then just relaxing the arms, bringing the knees towards you and stirring the knees. So you can start with the hands on the knees, knees just a comfortable distance apart, not too close together to begin with. Stirring the knees in circles, and then the opposite way as well. Just feel that massaging effect on the low back. And when we use our arms, we don't really have to use our tummy muscles. So this is a really nice place to start, or if you're using this as a counter pose at the end of classes. When you come back to the center, you can release your arms down, and then we're going to keep going with our knee circles, but encouraging that activation across the abdominal and deeper muscles of the core. Knees are going in the same direction, still apart, little active in the feet. You can go the opposite way as well. And perhaps, because you're not using your arms, you can free that movement. So the knees can move a little further away from you. You can massage into the buttocks as well. Just do what feels good, remembering that activation in the belly. Then you can bring the knees to center, and we're going to free the knees to go in opposite directions. So a little stirring, perhaps a little length coming now into the legs as you do your stirring. And this feels really lovely across the back of the pelvis. We're going to go in the opposite direction as well. You can see your legs waving around there, Morag. Excellent stuff. Very good. And then we're going to come back to center, And take the left foot to the floor and make some larger circles with the right knee. So now we've got the left foot stabilizing this movement. We can really press into the left foot and we can stabilize enough to move that right leg much more fully than we would be able to if we weren't using stability. If you want to, you can begin to extend through your right leg. You don't need to, that's completely optional. One more in this direction, and then we'll go the opposite way. Start with a little soft bend in the knee if you've been extending already. And then when you're ready, you can open up the back of that leg if you want to. And just notice, if you've got clunking or clicking in your hip, try to avoid pressing through it. So make your movement a little slower or a little smaller so that you can work around that, not through it. Lovely. Next time your leg is extended above you, lengthen through the back of the leg by drawing the toes back towards the body and pressing through your heel, and then firm in your belly. Lengthen your straight leg all the way down to the floor. When your heel touches the floor, slide your foot in, placing the right foot on the floor. Feel that connection between the sole of the foot and the floor. Bend the left knee in, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. So starting with soft kneed circles. Sorry, that just made me giggle for a moment. I've got no idea why. If you want to, you can extend through your leg and just check that you've got that real connection between the right sole of the foot and the floor and the belly muscles, so you're really stable in your center. It doesn't mean you can't rock around a little bit, it's just having that support if you need it. When you're ready, you can reverse the motion, soften the knee to reverse first. Notice if this hip behaves differently than the other. And when you're ready, you can extend through your leg. Nice and passive in the upper body. Maybe you've even got enough relaxation across the face to smile here. One more in this direction, finishing with the leg up, extending through the back of the leg, the heel, drawing the toes back towards the body, and then firm in the belly muscles. Let that leg come long and straight down to the floor. When the heel touches the floor, slide your foot in. And now we feel a little stable and centered. And this constructive rest position, we're just going to take a deep breath in stillness. Sigh out through the mouth. Lovely job. Okay, just to give ourselves a little bit of release, take the feet, hopefully they're wide already, but if you need them a little bit wider for a moving bridge, you can. Elbows down by the sides, pressing the backs of the arms down again, lifting the hips, hula hooping the hips, feeling the engagement of the belly muscles, the sides of the body, the buttocks. Notice what switches on as you make this movement, and go the opposite way as well. Notice the response of the upper body and the feet. And then coming to center, rolling all the way down. And here we're going to lengthen the legs because they've been bent for a little while. Just want to lengthen the legs. And with the legs long, wave the soles of the feet from side to side, just flexing the toes up towards the ceiling, as if you were waving to someone with your feet. Somebody very low down, close to the floor, perhaps. And then when you're ready, you can bend your knees back in. We're going to bring the feet together now. So arms out to the sides, palms turned upwards, a little firmness in the belly, and we're just swaying the knees from side to side. So coming into a bit more of a pronounced twisting. As your knees move to the right, the left sole of the foot will come off the floor to allow the knees to stay towards each other. They don't have to be absolutely together. Firmness across your center to control your movements and to provide that support to the body. One more to each side. And then when you come back to center, taking your feet off the floor so that your knees are where is comfortable for you. So some people will like their knees a little bit closer towards their chests. That will feel more supported. Some will like them over their hips. It doesn't matter as long as you feel you can recruit the support of your belly muscles and sides and back as you hold your knees in this position. We can have the knees closer together. Some people will like them to touch, and that's fine. And then here, firming the shoulders and the arms down into the mat. So we're going to use the leverage of those limbs to help us with this movement. Firming the belly as well, and then allowing the knees to come to the left, and then back to the center and to the right. You don't need to get to the floor. We're just allowing the twist to happen with the support of the upper body. Try to avoid gripping in your jaw or tensing your face. Use those muscles in your center as well. Just beginning to feel what switches on here to support your movement. We're going to do one more to the right and then come all the way over to the left. So allowing the knees to drop down to the floor, and then if your right shoulder lifts, just softening it back down again. When you come down to the floor, just take a moment, a breath in and out here, feeling the different twist that we've got going on, the different spiral through the body. And then extending the right foot towards the left hand. As you bend your knee, you're going to gather your left knee up as well, roll back to the center, roll all the way over to the other side. So letting the knees settle to the floor and then re-softening the left shoulder down if needed. Taking a deep breath in and out, extending your left foot towards your right hand, noticing how differently it feels, this kind of twist. As you bend your left knee, gather your right knee in, roll back to the center and over to the other side. So we're penduluming now from side to side. Use the momentum of extending and then bending the top leg to further help. So we're recruiting momentum to help us make the movement, as well as the strength of the upper body, the leverage of the arms and our core muscles. Very good. Super duper. I'm shunting down my mat a little bit. So the next time we go over to the left, we're going to extend the right leg to the right and come up to sitting, she says. I need to center myself again. So we're up to sitting and we're going to come back down and roll to the other side and do the same thing there as well. So to come back down, we're just exploring this transition now. So we're going to slide the left arm along the floor, gather the right knee in, roll onto our backs, roll over to the opposite side, extend the left leg out and come up to sitting, and then slide the right arm along the floor, gather the left knee in, roll all the way to the opposite side and come into sitting. Let's roll, let's see, this will be number 2. You can use your arms for support. Let's do 2 more in each direction. And the more we do this with momentum, the easier and more graceful it becomes. But of course, it takes a bit of practice. So that's why we're doing it a few times. Super duper. And now we're going to come all the way to the left again, sitting all the way up. And as we sit up, we're going to reach the right arm down and over to the right. It doesn't have to be down the leg, it's just over to the right. And then we're going to come up to sitting, take the left hand down behind us and just lift our right arm over the head, coming into baby wild thing, and then coming back to sitting. So we've done just a little bit of extra movement. Let's see if we can do this to either side as well. So we're going to slide the left arm along the floor, gather the right knee in, roll onto our backs, over to the opposite side and up. Left hand down, right hand up and over. Coming back to center, take the right hand down behind you, press into the hand, the shin, the foot, baby wild thing, lifting the hips and releasing the hips back down. Slide the right hand down, gather the left knee in, rolling to the opposite side, right hand down, left arm up and over, coming back to upright, left hand down, lifting the hips, reaching the right arm up and over, baby wild thing, and hips down. Sliding down with the left hand, gather the right knee in, rolling to the opposite side, up and over the left leg, back to sitting, right hand down behind you, lifting the hips, baby wild thing. And let's do one more time to each side. Maybe I don't need to say all of the instructions, who knows? As you get used to it. Just finding your own flow, noticing what feels, whether it feels more natural the more that you do it, or whether you feel that you're still in that learning phase, and either way is good. We're going to finish by coming all the way to sit up on the left, just as we did, to add a little extra here. Aces. So as we come up to the left, we're going to actually extend both legs this time. So both legs are out to the sides. If you need something to sit on, please take that to absolutely to sit on. And we're going to take our cactus arms, sitting very upright, using the elbows behind, moving backwards to encourage the shoulder blades towards each other, to open the chest, to keep this length and space in the front of the body. I'm going to bend the right knee a little and just rotate towards the right and then fold, left elbow coming towards the right knee. Doesn't need to touch, it's not what it's about. Press through the leg to come up to sitting and then bend the left knee and take the right elbow towards the left knee. Press up to sitting, swap the bend, we rotate and fold. Come back to sitting, swap the legs, rotate and fold. Come back to sitting, swap the legs, rotate and fold. Come back to sitting, swap the legs, rotate and fold. And then we're going to come up to sitting, lengthen both legs, just bring your hands down in front of you, keep the elbows wide, shoulder blades rolling towards each other, and do a little shimmer from side to side with your upper body. So we're aiming for length out of the base of the spine, but you can keep your knees soft if you need to. We're not aiming to the floor, we're just creating a sense of space and length, moving the chest and the crown of the head forward towards the front of the body. And then when you're ready, you can pad your way back up to sitting. Excellent stuff. And we're going to take the left leg to the right leg, roll to the right and come onto our bellies. It's a little clunky of a transition, but hopefully it's okay for you guys. And let your forehead rest on the back of your hands. Toes towards each other, heels apart, and a little shimmer of the hips from side to side. And then we'll do our leg lifts in this position. So keeping the upper body very passive, the back of the forehead, sorry, on the back of the hands, bringing the legs towards each other, pressing down with the left foot and lifting the right leg up off the floor, keeping very active in the back of the body. Releasing the right leg down, press the right foot down, lift the left leg up. And change to the opposite side. Left foot down, right leg up. Releasing down, right foot down, left leg up. One more time to each side. Just allowing that your awareness of what works in the back of the body to do this. And then this time we're going to press the left foot down, lift the right leg up, and then just soften the knee to lift the toe or the heel a little higher. And notice what works. So if you extend the right leg to be long and then bend the knee again, you can feel the activation in the top of the hamstring. One more time, extend the leg and then bend the knee just a touch and release down. Press the right foot down, lift the left leg up,
Just bending the knee a little to lift the toe a little higher. Then extend your leg and take your awareness to that space just under the buttock. Bend your knee, feel that activation in the top of the hamstring. Lengthen your leg, and then one more time, bending the knee and releasing down. Very good. Super duper. And so from here, we're going to roll onto our backs again. Woo! So we can do the whole thing on the other side. So just take a moment here in constructive rest with the knees bent, feet on the floor, arms wide from the body. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. And we're going to bend our knees and take the feet off the floor. Start with a little sway from side to side, activating the back of the arms, the shoulders, the belly muscles, the sides of the body. And then whenever you're ready, you can allow the knees to come down on the right, extend the left leg, bend the knee, gather the knees up, come down to the left, extend the right leg. So going from side to side, just to build up that little sense of pendulum twist again. That sensation of momentum, leverage, stability. Excellent stuff. This time, when you bring the knees down on the right side, sit up into Janu Shirshasana. And we're going to come into that side bend over the left leg. And then we're going to slide down to the floor. So we're not doing baby wild thing. We're going to slide the right hand away, gather the left knee in, come to the opposite side, and just do a little side bend. And then come back to the floor, rolling to the right side again, side bend, back to the floor, rolling to the left side, side bend, back to the floor. This time we'll add the wild thing, rolling to the right side, side bend, and then reaching the right hand behind you, opening the hips up into your wild thing, reaching down over to the left side, side bend, reaching the left hand behind you, the hips up, pressing down, reaching the right arm up and over, baby wild thing. And then this time, roll over to the right, and we're going to sit up and extend both legs, just as we did on the opposite side. So apologies, I've got my back to you, but hopefully it's okay. And we're going to take cactus arms, start by bending the left knee, rotating to the left and then folding, and releasing back to the center, swapping the knees, rotating to the right and folding. Really using that space between the shoulder blades as you move from side to side. And perhaps you can find your own flow here, where it feels like an almost continuous movement. Like the pendulum twist that we hear with our twist and fold. Next time you go to the right, make that your last time, come back to the center. And this time we're going to turn to the left leg and place the hands either side of the left leg. Roll the shoulder blades together, feel that length in the body, a lift in the belly and the chest, and then just gently shimmer from side to side over your left leg. Now, if your foot wants to a little bit help, that's okay. So don't feel your pelvis here because that leads destabilizing the back of the pelvis. A little bit of shimmer, finding that length. If you feel inclined, you can settle here for a forward bend as well, perhaps when you're doing this video. When you're ready, walking the hands back towards the body, just gently turning to the opposite side, placing the hands down either side of the right leg, and then lifting the chest, drawing the shoulder blades back behind you, a little shimmer from side to side. Notice if it's different. So I find that I've got much less movement on this side. My left hip wants to move with me, even though it's really my right hip. But you know, the opposite leg wants to move with me. Notice how it feels for you. Keep it length in the body, negotiate for space. Those ripples are all about preparing the body for the movements that we expect of it. When you're ready, you can walk your hands back towards you, and then we're going to come down onto our belly. So take your right leg to your left, and you're just going to roll yourself down onto your belly. And make a pillow out of your hands.
And toes towards each other, heels apart. We're going to give the hips a little bit of a wiggle.
And then after, what we've done is some forward bending, some forward folding and twisting, forward spirals, if you like.
So we're going to counter those with some backward spirals, bringing the legs towards each other. We're going to firm the left foot into the floor, keep the upper body and the head down, lift the right leg, bend the knee just a little, and then reach your right toes behind you towards the left side of the body. They don't have to touch. It's not what it's about. Gently roll back to the center, lengthen the right leg down to the floor. Press down with the right foot, lift the left leg, bend your knee just a touch, and then roll the left toes across the body towards the right. And then gently roll back to center, lengthen your leg down. Let's do a few side to side. So press the left foot down, lift the right leg, soft knee, and then roll and release. Head stays on the back of the hands. Press the right foot down, lift the left leg, bend the knee, roll and release. Press the left foot down, lift the right leg, bend the knee, reach that toe and release. Press the right foot down, lift the left leg, bend your knee, reach your toe and release. Come back to the center here, toes towards each other, heels apart. Just give the hips a little bit of a wiggle, making sure that we're not carrying any tension from this into the next practice. In stillness, a deep breath in, sighing out through the mouth. Very good. And hopefully the back of the body feels really active and vital now, because it's been recruited so many times to support these movements, and it will help us stabilize in our practice. Hands underneath the shoulders or the chest. Tuck your toes. You can come up to hands and knees first with the knees wide, the hands wide, and make some circle movements with the hips, just as a releasing practice to let go of some of the tension or the effort that we've made. Let's go the opposite way as well. Little softness in the elbows here, support from the feet. And then in hands and knees, bringing the knees closer together, not absolutely together, but closer together. Feel a sense of length in the crown of the head so that the body is really supported in it. It's sort of a long spine direction. And we're going to lift the left hand and the right knee off the mat and let them come down, and lift the right hand and left knee. So we're going opposite hand and knee lifting, and a foot as well. So the whole of the leg is hovering, the whole of the hand and arm are hovering. And if you can, just going side to side, feeling that activation in the belly muscles, and whatever has to happen across the shoulders. It might be different for you than it is for me. Perhaps the hips are involved, the hip flexors certainly. Just notice the firing of those muscles. When you feel like you've done an even number side to side, coming back to the center, and we'll do a little cat-cow with an added extra as well. So we're going to inhale the head and chest forward, and as you exhale, round through the spine and hover your knees off the floor, pressing into your feet. Inhaling forward, opening your chest, soften the elbows, exhaling, rounding through the spine and hovering your knees. Inhaling forward, exhaling, rounding through the spine, hovering the knees. One more, inhaling forward, exhaling, rounding and hovering. Coming back to the center,
We're going to just drop back for a little child's pose, toes together, knees apart. If that suits you, you can have your knees together if you prefer. Turn your palms upwards, take your forehead to the floor, deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Soften the belly as you breathe. Deep breath out. And then when you're ready, you can come back to hands and knees. And we're going to do a little waving vinyasa. So our first waving vinyasa we're going to do from the knees, toes tucked under, drop the hips back to the heels. Press off the feet to round through the spine. Scoop the belly out of the way, looking back at your knees until your chest is over your hands rather, and then dragging the heels of the hands backwards to open the chest, soft in the elbows. Press into the hands to lift back the way you came, rounding through the spine and pressing the hips back to the heels. If you want to do this variation, you can. If you want to do the down dog variation, just lifting your hips up, keeping the knees nice and bent, pressing off the toes, rounding through the spine, opening your chest, dragging the heels of the hands backwards to open the chest a little bit further, and then bending your knees to come back the way you came. One more, any variation that you like, rolling forward, waving through the spine. And if you are doing the down dog variation, this time if you want to, you can press up to plank and then back to downward dog, just a different way to do it. And then here, a little paddle in the down dog. And then we're going to settle our knees down, mostly because I have a wardrobe malfunction and need to adjust. But coming down into child's pose again, this time with the knees together, reaching the hands forward, palms upwards if you want to. You can leave your elbows on the floor and bring the backs of the the palms of the hands to the upper back or the bottom of the neck. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. When you're ready, reaching the hands forward, we're going to tuck the toes again up into downward dog, and then walk our feet all the way forward to the hands. Hold a forward bend, soft knees, turning the backs of the hands to the floor or holding elbow to elbow if you prefer. Just taking a moment to allow the back of the neck to be long, the crown of the head heavy towards the floor. And just like child's pose, a little softness in the knees here to help open those spaces in the low back. And then we're going to roll up, so bend the knees a little deeper, chin to chest, press through the legs, roll up to standing. As you come to standing, turn the palms forward, drawing the shoulder blades towards each other, creating length down the back of the neck as well. And then we'll do our standing flow from here. So taking a moment, just as we come into upright again, to find that Tadasana alignment. So the toes are spreading, the insteps are lifting, the outside edge of the foot is gripping the mat as well. We've got that lift from the center of the foot to the crown of the head, activating all of those muscles of support on the way. And we'll do our earth salute with a little added extra. So breathing in, taking the arms out and up, looking up. Breathing out, drawing the palms down to the center of the chest. Breathe in, reach the arms up and open the hands apart. As you breathe out, draw your shoulder blades down, creating length down the back of the neck. Breathe in as you reach over to the right side. Breathe out as you come back to center, just side bending. Breathing in over to the left. Breathing out back to center. We're going to do a twist now. Breathe in, reach the left hand forward, the right hand backwards. You can soften the knees. Breathe out back to the center, arms over the head. Breathing in as you twist to the opposite side, softening the knees. Breathing out back to center. Breathing in, open your chest as you look up, bend your knees, and as you breathe out, fold forward over your bent knees, coming into a forward bend for a deep breath in and a deep breath out.
We're going to bend the knees a little deeper, reach the arms forward, sit the buttocks down into chair pose, really activating that space between the shoulders. Here, take your weight onto your left foot, just raising the right heel from the floor, and then release. Weight onto the right foot, raising the left heel from the floor, and release. One more time to each side, and release. Lift, and release. We're going to take the weight onto the left foot, free the right foot from the floor completely, cactus arms, and bring the left elbow towards the right knee. Very good. And then from here, we're going to come into warrior three. So reaching the hands forward and the leg backwards, pivoting on your hips, lifting the heel, finding stability, finding strength in those muscles at the back of the body. From here, coming into warrior two. So placing the right foot down, spinning the arms to come into warrior two. Maybe your stance isn't quite as wide as normal, but that's okay. You're going to inhale the arms up, legs long, and exhale, looking over the middle finger of the left hand. One more, inhaling up and exhaling. Then we're going to reach the right hand forward and the left hand backwards to do a little retreating warrior. And come the opposite way, reaching the left hand across the belly and the right hand forwards, extended side angle. One more time, back the way, reaching the right hand across the belly and the left hand up and over, firm in the feet, and coming back the opposite way, extended side angle variation. So last time we're going to go backwards, but this time when we go backwards, we're going to lengthen the left leg, turn in the left foot and fold over the right leg, leave the left hand on the floor and lift the right arm up behind you. Little twist in your pyramid here. If you need to bend your right knee, that's no problem at all. You can bounce up and down on it if you prefer. And then from here, we're going to turn the feet towards the right, take the right hand down on the other side of the right foot and step back into downward facing dog, facing the opposite way on the mat. In down dog, doing a little paddling of the down dog, if that feels good to you. And then we're going to do a waving vinyasa. So pressing off the heels to round forward. You can take the knees to the floor if you want to. Opening your chest this time, doing a little shimmer of the upper body from side to side. Soft knees, soft elbows, buoyancy, pliability. Come back to the center. Come back through plank or through bent knees into downward facing dog. One more time. Coming forward in your waving vinyasa, knees down or knees up, it doesn't matter. Opening the chest, simply holding here for a deep breath in and a deep breath out, and then coming back into downward facing dog. We're going to walk the feet forward to the hands, standing into a standing forward bend, turning the backs of the hands to the floor, softening the knees if you need to, lengthen through the back of the neck. Allow the crown of the head to come towards the floor. If your hands don't reach the floor, just hold elbow to elbow. It is the same thing. When you're ready, you can bend the knees deeply. Press through the feet, engage through the muscles of the center and roll up to standing. Allowing the head and the arms to come last. As you come up to standing, if you need a moment, take a moment. If you're ready, you can move straight into the practice, turning the palms open, breathing in as you lift the arms out and up, breathing out, bringing the hands down to the center of the chest. Just so everyone catches up, let's do one more cleansing breath like that. Breathing in, reaching the arms out and up. Breathing out, hands center of the chest. Really firm in your feet. Think about your Tadasana alignment. Breathe in, reach the arms out. Reach the arms up. As you breathe out, separate the hands, drop the shoulders down. This time, left side bend first. Breathe in, reach to the left. Breathe back to the center. Then reach to the right. To the center. Twisting first to the left, breathe in, right hand forward, left hand back. Breathe out, back to the center.
Breathe in, twist to the opposite side. Soft knees if you need to. Breathe in, back to center. Reach up with your chest and bending your knees as you fold forward into a forward bend. Taking a moment here in your forward bend for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Then bending your knees much deeper, dropping the hips down, reaching your hands forward, come into a deep chair squat. And again, just like last time, taking your weight onto your left foot, lifting the right heel off the floor, bringing both feet to the floor, taking the weight onto the right foot, lifting the left heel up. One more time to each side, lifting the right heel. Firm in the belly and the buttocks, lifting the left heel. This time, as you take your weight onto your left foot, free. Oh no, hold on. Take your weight onto your right foot, free your left knee, and bring the right elbow towards the left knee as you come into Twisted Dancer. Some of you would have known that already. I just got my lefts and rights muddled. So taking a moment in Twisted Dancer, and then when you're ready, coming into Warrior Three. So reaching your arms forward and your left leg backwards, really feeling the engagement of the back of the body, the belly muscles, the space between the shoulder blades, the buttocks. And when you're ready, stepping back with your left foot and pivoting your arms so you come into Warrior Two. You can check your alignment if you need to, but we have the ability to adapt to where our feet fall. So as you inhale, reach your arms up. As you exhale, looking over the right fingertip, coming into Warrior Two. Inhaling up and exhaling down. This time we're going to inhale, reach the left hand forward and the right hand backwards into a retreating warrior, and exhale, spiral the arms the opposite way to come into extended side angle pose. Inhaling, opening backwards away from your front knee. Exhale, leaning over the front knee. Inhaling, spiraling the arms backwards. This time we're going to lengthen the right foot, pivot on the right heel, turning the toes in, and then folding over the left leg, reaching the right hand down to the left foot and reaching the left hand up behind us. For a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Maybe just one more deep breath in and deep breath out. You can pulse on your left knee if you'd like to. And then to come out, we're turning the toes to the left. Let the left hand and right hand frame the left foot. Take your weight into your right leg and step back into your downward facing dog. Make a little paddling in your dog. And we'll take a waving vinyasa as well. So waving vinyasa of your choice, dropping your hips towards your heels, pressing off the toes, rounding through the spine, opening your chest, softening your elbows, and coming back the opposite way, whatever variation of technique you most enjoy. And then we're going to hold downward facing dog for a few moments. So find a comfortable spot. You can have your knees as soft as you like, feet as far apart as you like, hands turned out if you like. If you don't like to hold in steadiness, you can just keep undulating. So pulsing or undulating or walking, whatever works for you. But remember, even when your body appears to be still, your breath is always moving. There is always movement in your body. See if you can tune into that movement of the breath. And then when you're ready, you can very gently bring your knees down, take the knees apart, bring the toes together, settle the forehead to the floor or to some kind of support. Turn the palms upwards if that feels good. If you prefer to have the hands down, that's okay too. And here in Child's Pose, just releasing the effort of your practice, softening your face,
Softening the abdomen, that space just underneath the rib cage that's been very active as well. Softening the space at the back of the shoulders. Using your breath to find that softness in the muscles of the core, of the back, the buttocks. And when you're ready, you can gently pad your hands back towards you to come up into sitting.
Very good. Aces. So we are going to do a little rotating releasing, if that makes sense, but it's a bit more active than our usual releasing. So we'll see how we go. I just need to think about where we get to. I'm pretty sure we should be in this direction, and that's fine. So we're going to come back into downward facing dog and work with our right leg first.
So coming into your down dog, bring your feet towards each other, pressing into the fingertips as well as the heels of the hands, just keeping that strength, that softness in the elbows, active in your belly muscles. Let's lift the right leg up behind us, doesn't matter how high it goes, and then bounce on your left knee. So get a little bouncy on the left knee. Good job. Then we're going to lift the right leg and bend the right knee towards the left elbow, just twisting through the upper body, the whole body. Inhaling the right leg up, exhaling knee to elbow, opposite elbow underneath the body. One more, lifting the right leg up, knee to elbow. And then this time we're going to lift the right leg up and then step the right foot outside the right hand. So a little bit of a different movement. And we're going to keep the left knee off the mat as we turn to that right knee and make a big circle with the right arm once in each direction. A really beautiful big circle using the left arm for support. And when you've done a big circle in each direction, resting your right hand on your right thigh. Now you might want to turn out your toes or roll onto the outside edge of your foot. You might want to move your left hand out to the left a little. And we can open our chests just by drawing the shoulder blades together and feeling that openness here. Wonderful stuff. Then we're going to make sure the left arm is centered underneath the left hip and just step the right foot back to about hips. About hips. You lovely. So we're now doing a little side plank, but with the top leg helping, reaching your right arm up and over, and then allow your hips to come to the floor and your right elbow to come down towards your right hip. We're going to press back up again, opening that side of the body really firm. Let the hips come down. One more time, pressing up and then gently coming down. And this time we're going to sit onto the hips facing the opposite way, and we're ready for a seated spinal twist. So as we come to sitting down, we're going to wrap the left arm around the right thigh. We don't want to really pin the thigh towards us. And then reach the right hand behind as we twist to the right, but just allowing the body to find itself in the twist, using the arms for a little bit of support, little firmness and lift in the belly, drawing the shoulders down, maybe turning the head a little further if you want to. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And when you're ready, you can gently unwind your spine, head first, and then hands. We're going to lengthen the right leg and then roll onto our bellies. Very nice. Take a moment with the head on the hands, toes towards each other, heels apart, wriggle the hips. In stillness with the body, taking a deep breath in, deep breath out. Then we're going to bring the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes, and come back to downward facing dog to do the whole thing on the other side. So here, keeping the right foot down, lifting the left leg up, bending the right knee, just getting a little bounce through the right knee. practicing for that buoyancy. And then the next time your left leg is up, drawing the left knee to the right elbow underneath the body, the shoulders come forward. There's a lovely twist. Taking the left leg up, breathing in here, breathing out as you rotate and twist. Breathing in as you lift, breathing out as you rotate and twist. And then this time, breathing in as you lift, and then breathing out as you step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. You're going to keep the right leg long, turn towards that left thigh, and make one big circle with the left arm going in each direction. Nice and expressive. And then if you want to, you can turn your left foot out. You can roll onto the edge of the side edge of the left foot. Press your hand into your thigh to open your chest a little bit more, perhaps. Rotating. Firm in the buttock behind you as well. Really active in this part of the body. Make sure that you've got your right hand underneath your body and just slide your left foot back towards your hips, twisting to the left onto the outside of the right foot, lifting the left arm up and over, and then drawing the hips towards the floor, left elbow to the hip, left hip, and then pressing into the feet and the arm to lift up and down. We're preparing for that baby rock star next week. One more time, up and down, and this time as your hips come down, sitting onto your buttocks so that you face the other side of the mat, other end of the mat. We're going to sit and lengthen, wrap the right arm around the left leg, left hand behind us, using the arms for a little support, rolling the shoulder blades together, allowing your body to find the twist that it is comfortable in, twisting the head a little bit further without really using too much leverage from the arms. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Unwinding the head first, unwinding the spine. This time we're going to come down onto our backs. So if you've got a block handy, grab your block. I haven't decided, but we might use that. If you want to have your blanket handy for relaxation, that's a good thing too. Super duper. Okay, so in your own time, coming all the way down onto your back, bending your knees to place your feet on the floor, just as we did at the beginning of the class. Taking the arms wide, palms turned upwards. And just allow your body to settle against the mat for a moment. Feel the body absorbing all of the information you've given it, particularly your central nervous system, your fascial system, your muscles, your circulatory system, your lymphatic system. Everything responds to the movements that we do in yoga. And here, maybe gently turning the nose from one side to the other. And then we're going to do a little stretch of the side and then come into a supported bridge pose. So with the arms wide, the knees would just float from side to side. Just a touch of activation through the belly muscles to allow you to move with ease. The next time your knees come down on your left side, allow them to stay there. Reach the right arm past the right side of the head. And notice if this feels a little bit more comfortable than it did at the beginning of class. And if you don't notice, that's okay too. So here you can encourage the inner right foot and thigh towards the mat to feel a little increasing stretch or increasing sense of space. And if you need some more, and really be honest with yourself, do you need some more? Maybe you don't. But if you do, you can rest the left foot on top of the right thigh. Allow the body to release and surrender down, particularly in the shoulders. Relax your face. Take a deep breath or two here. When you're ready to release, uncross your legs if they're crossed. Bring your right arm back to a more neutral position, firm the belly, and allow the knees to come back up to the center, side to side. Realign anything that's found its way out of alignment. And then in your own time, the knees come all the way over to the right. Reach your left arm past the left side of your head. Encourage the inner right foot and thigh to the floor. And if that sense of length just doesn't feel quite sufficient, resting your right foot on top of your left thigh. And here, softening the shoulders, the face, the forehead. And taking some long, deep breaths. When you're ready to release, you can uncross your legs. Draw your left arm back to more neutral position, firm the belly and bring the knees back to center. Do a little sway with the knees from side to side. And then if you've got a block handy, today we're going to attempt to do a supported bridge on the top end of the block. So if you already know that's not going to suit your body, that's okay, then don't aim for that. But if you would like to, again, a little practice for our baby rock star next week. We're going to firm the feet into the floor, bring the heels a little bit closer towards the buttocks, press into the heels to lift the hips and slide your block as on its highest possible setting underneath the sacrum. And if you're not sure where that is, feel the bony bits at the front of the pelvis, the front of the hips, and just run your hands directly behind you. You should be able to touch your block there. Once you're up, you can step your feet a little further away from you and just check that your block is in fact stable. So most often I find that as I go up, the block seems to tip a little bit, so I just need to slightly shift its base rather than where it is on my body so that it's nice and centered and stable. And so here on this high setting of the block, we're going to reach the arms out to the side. And if you're on the medium setting, that's fine. You just keep doing what we're doing on the medium setting and wait for us to join you on the medium setting as well. So here we're softening the effort in the shoulders, relaxing the weight of the pelvis down. So you can let go of the effort in the muscles of the buttocks and hamstrings and the belly and the hip flexors here as well. Just let everything release. Feel that softness from the crown of the head and across the face as well, into the arms, the fingers. Some deep breathing. The longer you hold, hopefully, the more comfortable this feels as the body adapts to the shape. But if it is becoming uncomfortable, then please come down to a lower setting of your block. after your next deep breath, just preparing to move, perhaps firming the feet a little bit more into the floor, gathering the awareness into the buttocks and the belly muscles, lifting your hips just enough to move your block to the medium setting. And if you're already on the medium setting, we're just about to join you there with a little practice as well. So as you settle your hips down onto the medium setting, we're going to try extending the left leg away. See if that feels comfortable. If it feels comfortable to do that, bend your right knee in towards you. You can hold it or you can just leave it where it falls. If you enjoy that balancing we sometimes do, you can draw your right knee towards you enough to lift your left foot off the floor and just tap it up and down really gently. If you prefer to keep your foot on the floor, that's okay too. When you're ready to change feet, allow your left foot to come to the floor, release your right knee, the right leg will come down, turn the left toes to point up to the ceiling, slide the heel in, both feet are on the floor, both knees are bent. And then just feel in the center the difference between the two sides. Lengthen your right foot away from you, turn the toes out to the side a bit if you can, bend your left knee in towards you, hug that leg towards you. And then if you'd like to, you can do that little balancing on the block, tapping your right foot or heel up and down from the floor. And that's completely optional. If you have a different variation that you like to do, you go with it. When you're ready, you can let the right heel rest down. Then let the left foot come to the floor, turn the right toes to point upwards, slide the right foot in. Prepare to move onto the lowest setting of the block. So gently lifting the hips as subtly as you can to turn the block onto its lowest setting. And then here, you can extend both legs if you know you're comfortable doing that. Or you can do exactly what we've just done on the medium setting. Bend one knee in, have one leg out. So if you've got both legs extended, we're going to take about 4 or 5 deep breaths here. If you're working one side and the other, make sure you do a couple of breaths on each side. If you have both legs extended, release all of the effort that you can. Again, softening the face, the shoulders, the muscles of the posterior chain, the buttocks, the hamstrings, the abdominal muscles, the hip flexors. And then taking your time, so if you're still working side to side, that's okay. But taking your time just to bring yourself back to center, bringing the toes to point upwards, sliding the heels back in, one at a time. Taking a moment in the bent knee variation, just to allow the spine to adapt slowly back to a more neutral space. And then when you're ready, as subtly as you can, lifting the hips to remove the block, letting your hips come all the way down to the floor. Notice the deliciousness of that feeling behind the body. And if you can feel the effect of that release. If you want a bolster underneath the backs of the knees for relaxation, you can get one for sure. And if not, I've had my blanket rolled up for another practice, but we are going to
prepare ourselves for relaxation. So we don't really want to bend the knees into the chest at this stage, unless you feel your body needs that to release. So if you prefer back bending, and your back feels quite bendy naturally, then you may be fine just to rest straight down into Shavasana. You can choose to do legs up the wall today if you'd like to, of course, as an alternative. When you're ready, in the position of your choice, cozied up, allow your body to come to stillness. Notice in your stillness that your breath is still moving. Breathing deeply in, sighing out through your mouth. Repeat 3 more times, a long deep breath in. Let all of your effort go. A long deep breath in. Let your muscles relax. A deep breath in and surrender down into your mat. Allow your breath to find its natural rhythm, perhaps a little deeper than normal, but falling into quietness. Soften the features of your face. Allow the space between the eyebrows to spread. The area around the eyes to relax. The mouth, tongue, jaw to release. Allow the whole of the body to feel heavy, warm and supported, and releasing down. And simply relax a little deeper with every exhalation.
Gently begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back into your hands by rubbing the tip of the thumb over the tip of the fingers. Begin to wiggle the fingers and toes, rotating the wrists and the ankles. When you feel ready, taking a long deep breath in, stretching the body in any way that feels good, maybe pressing your low back down. In your own time, you can find a way to draw your knees towards you. Make any movements that feel good. Maybe a little rotation of the knees, massaging that space at the low back. Maybe just a little roll from side to side, or turning of the head from side to side. And then just whenever you're ready, rolling to one side, spending a moment there, curled up, containing this feeling of relaxation, of awesomeness for just a moment longer. And then in your own time, coming up to any comfortable seated position. We're going to bring the palms together and rub the hands together. Pressing the palms quite firmly towards each other, creating that friction across the skin on the palms of the hands. Slowly building the heat in the hands. If you need a little more help to do that, then pressing a little firmer, rubbing a little faster. And then when you feel that sense of heat building to a point that feels good for you, placing the hands over the eyes. Feel that warmth soften and release the area around the eyes, linking into your palms a few times, releasing your hands down when you're ready to open your eyes. Thank you for joining me in this practice. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was just what you needed to set you up for an awesome weekend. Namaste.